Hello, English 112 students. Today we are going to take a look at using your Coastal Library online. Okay, so this is your research paper, and I'm just going to go ahead and click into our Module 3, and I want to get to our Week 10, and we'll take a look at your virtual assignment that's due on Thursday. So let me go ahead and pull that up. So your MLA activities, the first assignment that's due as your virtual assignment this week, your first assignment this week, is this MLA activity sheet. So you're going to be asked to cite 5 different types of sources: an article from the Credo database, an article from the web page of one of these following: PBS, NPR, BBC, one of these news sources, a dictionary definition of a word of your choice, either online or print, an article from the NC Live database, and an article from Opposing Viewpoints. So once you get all 5 different sources, you want to properly cite those in MLA 9th edition and put them in a works cited page. So let me be clear that I don't want you to turn this in. I want a typed, formatted, correctly formatted MLA works cited page. All right. So if we start with the Credo database, let me go ahead and look at this, because I want to look at this too for this video. So you have a couple of assignments this week that's asking you to use the library. So let's start with accessing the library. You can get to the library, or a person, I should say, can get to the library from the main homepage without ever logging into the MyCCC portal. You would go through this particular link here. You should not use this link. You want to come over here, log in, get to your portal, and use your library resources link right here. The reason for this is because this particular link is the general public link, and there's not as much information as this right here. Okay? Your student, your tuition pays for all of the resources that the library has. So there are resources that the general public does not have access to. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click into this link here. So once you're at this homepage, and this should look familiar to you if you have looked at your worksheet that's due on Sunday. So there are a few things on this particular page that I want to point out to you. First of all, if you need help at any point in the any point in your research during this paper, you can click on this yellow bar at the bottom called Get Research Help. It's very similar to the Writing Center help, but you are going to connect with a research librarian, and they are the experts for finding sources and sort of narrowing down topics and things like that. So you could do a virtual chat. This is available 24/7. You may not get a coastal librarian depending on what time of day. You may get a librarian at some other place in the state of North Carolina. And if it's a coastal specific question that you have, that person would then refer you to the coastal library, and that a person would get back in touch with you. You can do a virtual meeting. You set that up just like with the Writer Center appointment, same concept, okay? And then same for an in-person meeting. So this is there for you to use. I recommend, if you have any questions about finding your sources to go to this Research Help tab. Now, along here, you have other buttons that'll take you to different sources. So the Credo reference, I want to talk about Credo reference. I'm going to click into it. This database it's a curated database of essentially encyclopedia and dictionary type entries. It's a reference database. It says Credo reference, so it's a database for all manner of reference sources. And you search in the search bar like you would search at any other reference or any other of your library search bars, which is different from Google. And I will talk about that when we get to that one search bar. So let's just say you want to look up an article on, I had someone in one of my in-person classes wanting to know about boot camp. So we're going to go ahead and type boot camp in. So if we look boot camp up in Credo, what we're going to find is a variety of things. So we're going to have about 268 articles of all kinds. Here's one from the Encyclopedia of Fitness. Here's a dictionary definition, which, by the way, this should look familiar for your MLA activity. You need to get a dictionary definition. So Credo is a place to get a dictionary definition, an online dictionary definition. You also have this interesting concept map with your search term in the center. Now, not all of your search terms are going to give you a concept map, but quite a few of them do. And then around the concept, around the original search term, you have a variety of related concept terms. And these terms can give you, if you click on them, other topics that put them in the center. So let's talk about recruit training, for example. If we did recruit training and we start to get a little bit more specific, we get a whole bunch of other related topics, and it's going to give you a different set of articles. And you also get images. If you want to put images into your paper, that's something you can think about. All right, so this is Credo. Again, this is your reference source. This is a database of all kinds of references. Now, you are asked to find, let me remind myself which one. You are asked to find from opposing viewpoints. Okay, so if we come over here, let's get out of that. This database's A to Z shows you all the different research databases that Coastal has. Some of them are quite specific. So if we look just under A, we've got Accounting, Tax, and Banking Collection, African American History, African American Poetry, Agriculture Collection, American Poetry. So you can see that our databases can be very specific, which is nice if you know you've got a very particular topic. So we're looking for opposing viewpoints. That's a very popular database, especially in a freshman writing class. Now, I want to remind you, we're not writing an argument persuasive paper. We're writing an information paper. But you can still look at opposing viewpoints to get ideas for sources and to get sources. So if we click into opposing viewpoints, you are going to get a search bar here where you can put search terms in, and you can also browse the general issues. So there are all kinds of topics with articles, scholarly articles, newspaper articles, a whole bunch of different ones that are curated under each of these topics. Now, remember, your topic, you have certain restrictions on what you can research. So you need to read through these forbidden topics and make sure that what topic you choose does not, it is within the guidelines. So let's just say we want to look up plagiarism. We'll just take a look and see what's under there. So typically what you get when you look at opposing viewpoints, you get sort of a general article explaining, like a reference style article explaining what what the topic is. Then you get a curated set of related types of sources. So there's academic journal sources, we have videos, viewpoints, this would be something controversial, some more reference sources, magazines, websites. So a lot of what you need can be found oftentimes under this opposing viewpoints. So if we clicked on, let's just say, academic journals, we're going to get a list of articles that are peer-reviewed academic. You can see that it says peer-reviewed, it's checked. And you can click on these articles and see if this matches your needs. Okay, so let's just say you like this article and you want to use it. Here's my little quick and dirty how to cite this source. Almost all of your articles that you find within your coastal library are going to have a citation tool. You can't take these as the end-all be-all. They're not always 100% correct, but they're often pretty close to being correct, and it's a good starting point. So you can click on that, choose your, make sure you're using MLA 9th edition. Sometimes the default will be APA. You want to pay attention, and then you can copy that and paste that into your Works Cited page, fixing up what needs to be fixed up, like the font. The font almost always needs to be fixed up, okay? You can download the article. This is good because a lot of times you'll want to use the PDF so you can see what it looked like and get a page number. So if you download this article, it's going to download straight to your computer. You can pull it up and take a look and say, oh, look at that. I can see what it looked like, okay? So that is your opposing viewpoints database. So let's go back to our databases. There's another one that's similar. Your Sunday homework is going to ask you to look at issues and controversies. It's very similar to opposing viewpoints in that it features controversial issues. Now, again, reminder, this is an informational paper. You can inform me on a controversial issue as long as you're giving me like deep background information. You aren't going to be arguing for the controversy, but you can certainly present controversial information objectively as though you're writing a very objective, old-fashioned news story, okay? And you can look at the list of issues that the issues and controversy has. They have quite a few. This will give you a good idea. This is part of your homework for Sundays to go through, and this will help you choose your topic. All right. So if we go back to this Works Cited, you're going to have to go out to the web. This is one of the few times you're allowed to use Google, and you're going to Google and try to get your either PBS or NPR, one of these news websites, to get an article. Dictionary definition, we talked about that. That is, you can get that off of Credo, and I recommend Credo. It gives you more experience. Here's opposing viewpoints, which we looked at. Finally, I want to look at the NC Live database. So let's go back to our home page. This can be found, I believe it can be found at our A to Z. Let me just double check. Yes, so it can be found either under the A to Z page, databases, or you can, its button, like the Credo button, is called out on its own. So if we click on NC Live, there are many, many different things NC Live has. There's test prep, there's articles, ebooks. So you're going to do a search here at NC Live and find an article to cite properly. All right, so back to our homepage. I want to do a little bitty looking with this one search bar. So this is sort of the quickest way if you don't have a specific database in mind, you just want to find different kinds of sources. You can put your search terms in this one search bar. It does not function like Google. So you it's not intuitive. First of all, you want to spell your words correctly, or it won't know how to look for those words. It doesn't offer you, like Google does, oh, did you mean this word spelled correctly? You've got to actually spell it correctly. So if, let's just say we were going to look up plastic water bottles. So plastic bottles. And we do a search on that. Let's see what happens. So if we search for plastic bottles, nothing else in that search bar, just plastic bottles, we get 81,000 results. That's a lot. So what we might do, if we want to think, oh, well, plastic bottles is the term we want. We don't want things with plastic but no bottles and bottles no plastic. We want it to be a single term, because this is searching for any time you see plastic and any time they find bottles, but they may or may not be together. So what we want to do, if we want these to always be together, is we're going to put quotation marks, and these little quotation marks tell the search bar to look for these two words in this order. So if we do that, we've cut it down to 34,000, and now that starts to feel more manageable. But what about plastic bottles? We got to get some more search terms. Your homework on Sunday is going to ask you to get some search terms. So then we're going to put in a second search term, and we want to say, we're looking at recycling. So we're going to say we want it to look for plastic bottles in our quotations because it's a term, and we want to capitalize that because this is telling our search bar to look for both of these terms. Both of these terms must be there. So plastic bottles and recycling. So let's see what happens then. We only get 16 results. So that might be too few. So maybe we want to do bottles in recycling. Maybe that would be better. And that gives us 79. So you can see it's really just, oh, you know what? I misspelled that word. Here I am going on, and so this will tell you how important this is. Let's do plastic bottles and recycling. That was a good experiment, even though it's my fault. All right, so let's do that. Better, 7,000. Okay, so now let's just say you want to make sure that all of these are full text. You always want to check this full text online. That's super important. Then the next thing we'll talk about is refining your search a bit more. So, scholarly and peer-reviewed articles. Scholarly articles means they're written by an expert in the field. Peer-reviewed means written by an expert in the field and reviewed by other experts in the field. So that's a step even up. So if we want scholarly and peer-reviewed, which you have to have 3, you're going to click that box too. That took us down to 196 results. Now, I think for a topic like this, we want to say, let's limit to only articles that are 5 years or newer. Because I think going older than 5 years for a topic like this feels a bit old. So we're going to click that. Now you've only got 124 results, and you could probably start to find some decent sources for your paper now. Okay? So again, to review, put the search terms that are like double word terms, like plastic bottles, like you might have another term like registered nurse, for example. Put that in quotation marks because those words should be together in that order. Then you can add this big "and" in all caps to search for something else, and then give the second search term. You could add a third search term if you wanted. I think more than 3 is probably too much, and you get too few results. All right, so good luck with the research, and let me know if you need any help. Feel free to email me. give me a phone call, whatever it takes. Okay. All right.